Okay. Do that. Ad's finished. Good morning, Malin. Good morning, Delta. Emporium guy, how's it going? What am I working on? Okay. So today I am working on trying to figure out how to debug some misbehavings in my in some NuGet packages that I built. Or rather the messages that I've created for the NuGet packages. So for the past year I've been working on an application, mainly on stream. And I have recently turned to focusing on deployment of the application to Kubernetes cluster. But then got turned back around onto the application because I needed to condense some code, and that opened up a can of worms in terms of requirements and other features. So yesterday we finally got the app up and running again after building some tools to migrate data. And now, sorry, we have a challenge reading messages from our pipeline. Did everything shut down? Nope. So I tried to work on this stuff off stream to try and get past the struggle parts and get on to more interesting components. But the reality is, this is development, right? Sometimes it goes smoothly, sometimes it doesn't go smoothly. And this is one of the not so smooth moments. And fun fact, even though the title on YouTube is allowed to be solving problems with my own NuGet packages, the Twitch will not allow NuGet to be in the stream title. It deems it offensive. So you can't. So that's why my own library packages on Twitch. So if you're ever trying to put the word NuGet into a title of a stream, don't do it. I wonder if you watch Twitch more than I listen to Spotify. To be fair, most of those are not active watching. I don't get to yeah. No, I think it allows it because we've allowed the term in the chat before, but it doesn't allow it because Twitch in general bans that word. Yeah, 140,000 hours of Spotify. How do you do that? I would bet I have maybe a couple of hundred hours of Spotify, but yeah, most of the time I try to at least leave streams up, even if I'm not actively watching. Yeah, I only have 5,000 hours of Twitch in the last year. Okay, so I was trying to consider how I might do this. So I'm open to ideas. How do you debug these, right? So I've produced these packages, and yeah, rookie numbers. Obviously, I'm pulling them in through NuGet into the actual application. Now, my instinct is to build a test program and build up the components using the DLL so I can debug. So then I can just throw away the test program afterwards. that is currently where I'm at in terms of my thoughts. There are tests in the library, right? There are tests for validating that it does serialize and deserialize with all the different things. I think something's different about the message. So I've got to validate the actual message. So this event body is, hi Phil, how you doing? Snapshot tests against the Kafka would tell you that. Oh, snapshot tests against Kafka. Not sure what that means. I'm happy I don't have gout. A coworker got severe case yesterday. That seems painful. Yes. Yes. I've heard bad things. I think we call them approval tests. We make requests and record this response, then report and compare responses against test run. Yeah, that makes sense. But that wouldn't solve this problem. The reason it wouldn't solve this problem is because for some reason, something in the deserialization of this message is different than the one I create in here. So I'm not going to write tests for every different type of message that can go through here. That's not what I want to do. Right, this detailed change event is the one I'm after. I'm not going to write tests for every single one of them. I used to get out pretty regularly, changed my diet, started exercising, got rid of it. One during the night, so laddie, where do you wake with neighbors? Oof. Yeah. Yeah, certain things can trigger it more than others, right? Okay, so let's just write a test program in here. What I need to do is, in this instance, what I'm testing is I'm testing the producer with that's the problem. I'm testing the producer with the event read from Mongo. So is it the Mongo reading it part, or is it the so it's either it's either the outbox processing it or the oh, I know how to do this. This is easier. This is easier than I thought it would be. Console outbox MongoDB verify. We'll call that for right a second. It's going to get deleted anyway. So similar to this, a friend of mine is carnivorous. He claims everything can be solved with pure meat diet. Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, I genuinely think that we all are very different and that what works for one doesn't necessarily work for another. And diets are, yeah. In the library, we've got sample classes that use the library and use those test library output. So, so essentially, though, to what I'm doing with these programs is I'm creating a test container. I'm configuring an outbox. I'm publishing a message to the outbox, and I'm validating that the message gets sent, right? And then the outbox messages contain that value. I'm not then I'm then validating that it got sent to Kafka by virtue of it not erroring. No vegetables, they're scary. Yeah. Yeah. I think, if you speak to 10 different people, you have 10 different opinions on what is good diet, or, some people like diet and exercise. But it's about balance, right? So what I'm going to do is instead of pointing at a test container here, I'm going to not do the publish part. I'm just going to start running it and then debug it, basically. Frameworks, packages, Microsoft extensions, hosting. That's all I need. Microsoft.extensions. Zeitgeist 2020s. 2,700 hours on Twitch. I'll say I do a lot, but not a ton. Sadly, a lot of mine is lurking. Mainly because I'm meant to be working when I'm doing the work, when I'm doing the lurking, and I can't engage. So, yeah. Okay, so that's that project. That's that project. That's that project. That's that project. Okay, we'll worry about MongoDB in a second. That project. Okay, so what we'll do is we will actually remove that. And we will have to reference, to get this to work, we're going to have to reference another package. So another project, add from Liquid Sky, source, no, project next, foundation, source, messaging. Interesting. That is not built. That is interesting. Yeah, it's your background whatnots. Yeah. If I engage with every single stream for as long as I watch, then I would I just never get any work done at all. And be too distracted. Foundation, why does that not have events? Okay, so do you not have add reference, add from, liquids, project next, foundation, source, messaging? Oh, because I'm Adobe bin debug done 8 events. Okay. So what I need to do is I need to get a MongoDB Actually, I don't need to do that. I just need a connection string. So this is HTTP, no, MongoDB localhost 27017. That's it. And this is going to be pipelines outbots. Okay. What we don't want to have happen is this produce the event. We'll see. There we go. Same error. Okay. Awesome. Outbot service publish message. Outbot service. There you go. Okay. That should eventually hit. Maybe 5 seconds, 30 seconds. Okay. You're going to hit line 105. Outbot service, line 105. It should have hit there though, because that should have done. Publish, delete, publish event. Publish message, yeah. Should have got there. Well, there is some argument to be had of while I'm developing that these libraries should not be a NuGet package, right? But then at what point did they become a NuGet package and what point did they become, you know, uh, part of your application? What I was thinking about there is doing the same thing I do with Foundation, and instead of having these use as a NuGet package in Liquid Sky, basically pull in the library and reference the libraries directly as an external repository. That would be a way of doing that. So with Foundation in the main application, Foundation here is not in the source code of Liquid Sky. It's a separate library just pulled in. And when you go to the commits, you can see Foundation on Liquid Sky. So anything I change in there is handled separately. Making it a NuGet package is a nice to do to share that as open source in case anyone finds what I use for Kafka to be useful. It can be a very major problem with making something a separate repository library that is to PR into two separate code bases for a single new feature. It can be. It's a challenge either way. You know, you just got to pick the better, the one that works for you. So Foundation, that is a shared library because the pieces in there are also going to be used by control towers. There's no benefit in Liquid Sky owning Foundation components, shared kernel stuff, because Liquid Sky and control tower are going to share some common code there. That is what Foundation is. So if I add a new event, Foundation changes and Liquid Sky changes. If Control Tower adds a new event, Foundation changes and Control Tower changes. So Foundation is shared kernel essentially. Now, some of these things, events and commands, I'm not sure about, but events, these are from Kafka for the most part, with the exception of service here. Changes in integration, these are both Kafka-based events. If I shifted to using Kafka schema, these individual libraries could actually be used to pull their own version of these events. So these don't need to be in here necessarily. But then other things that are kind of globally shared would still be a challenge. And we heard yesterday, we saw yesterday, I think it was Zones said they have a all their events are shared in a NuGet package, right, for all the application stack to use. So it there's no right or wrong way. I don't believe it's what works for the team, and for me, I gotta find that. Foundation could implement Kafka schema and make adding it to the code bases easier. Possibly, yeah. Yeah, Foundation could implement the events based on the Kafka schema, but yeah, it's I've seen a few different ways of going at messages, but I haven't seen a Kafka schema one used yet. Okay, so does it retrieve the messages? The first question. Yes, it does. So this is the message that we're producing. So we have the added on, the event, detailed change event, right? The source user is there. Occurred on, planning item. Oh, tell me this is not. Tell me this is something really dumb. I've got an awful feeling I know what this is all of a sudden. I've got an awful feeling this is going to be publish event. Topic is null. Key event publishing. Is that the same problem on the other side? But I didn't get no topic. We got because there's no configuration. This will fail. Okay. uh, Pipelines receivers. We've got that. There's a consumer. There's the producer. So we weren't set up to be a producer. Receivers, Kafka configuration. We are now producing as well. We're not just a receiver, we are a producer because we're outbox publishing. And also, we should have had them though. That's the weird thing. So, I'm going to test that first before I go too far. I think that's the problem. I think the problem is I'm not set up to be a producer. But I think in this case, it's actually a different problem. I think in this case, it's what I need to be doing is I need to be reporting that error differently. We need to do Kafka publisher. Yeah, I think um, 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 Is writing better in the present tense or past tense? Yeah, present tense. Present tense was. Tricky lady, hello. How you doing? Throw up a different error pushing message backing off. That wasn't no reference then, was it? What exception does that throw? Let's catch that and see. My day is okay. I'm getting there. Okay, exception, argument null exception. There we go. That's what the error is. Like cannot be null. Okay. So in this instance, that this wouldn't tell me that I hadn't got configuration. So I'm trying to identify able to retrieve topic. Do I need to log that at all? Yeah, I suppose. Let's see. Let's validate this. Does throw the. I want to see configuration does not provide topic for the event type. Not provide topic for detailed change event. There you go. Now that's a better change because again, it's actually I don't put try catches around code all the time, right? I don't believe in just throwing them in there just to try and catch every event. And I want to capture the specific exception I'm going to worry about. Anything else is an actual true exception, so it should throw a true exception. It would be a lie to put exception there and say configuration does not provide topic for. In this instance, I know that the argument null exception is going to capture if this doesn't load the configuration for whatever reason. So that should tell me, it should give me some steps. So I'm going to catch the specific exception. I'm going to wrap it. It is okay in this case because I am dealing with something that could be user configured. And that's what I'm going to focus on. So we are going to change this piece. What changed in here? Oh, yeah, you're going to go away. Actually, we're going to do that in a second when we validate that this one's working. So in this instance, I think actually the problem was more that publishing wasn't configured. Or it could actually genuinely be. Oh, there's a detailed change event. So I think publishing wasn't configured in this case. So it was a different problem, but the same result in that the publishing wasn't set up. Receivers, changes pipeline. Am I right or am I wrong? We will find out. Oh, I bet you it's reset the lag, pipelines integration, liquid sky changes, 172. Oh, what are you doing? How I use keyboard. Don't mind me while I just spam the button. So if this works, no, when this works, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back to getting the configuration for deployment setup. So the goal here is very much to get this one pipeline. So this was initially two libraries. I've dropped two programs. I've dropped them down into one program and condensed their behavior because it doesn't make any sense to have them separate. They're not going to scale any differently. It is a sender and receiver, but it's fine. There you go. Now let's see if this one produces. I mean, no guarantees, but we'll see. If this doesn't produce, what I'll do is I'll turn around and I'll get the configuration on either side. And it looks like it did though. There you go, changes detail. So there we go. So this is all I've been trying to do, get the actual details into Kafka. Now when the view starts up, right? When the view starts up, which is here, let's get back to here. W, continue that. Read only view, that's up and running. Continue. Now, when this is logged in, I'll give this a second just to catch up. There we go. Go here. Now we have our thing. Now we've got to figure out which of all those messages I was just looking at, which one was the one I actually cared about. Which one did I change? Planning item 888498. So if we go to planning items, this should be planning really, not planning items. 888 49, make more progress. So now make more progress should be here. Should be able to load that, and we should be able to go to changes, and there we go. We see our changes from September. Yes, all those changes were from September. They were backed up and erroring this entire time. Awesome. So we should be able to go deploy liquid sky staging. Requirements changes. Let's change this to UI antenna management. In progress. Come on. Review date is going to change to Friday. Oh, I'm a dingling. If you run the application in read only, you get what you deserve. Which is an application that's not doing what you want it to do. Let's refresh that. Wait for the full stack to start. So this actually goes to what I've been talking about in terms of when you're building your application, if you start putting try catches in because something might go wrong, and you just put try catch exception because you don't want things to fail or whatever, you could hide behavior, and the application just doesn't work, and you don't have any steps. If you leave the try catches out until later when you're running the application, you see exceptions. Not this again. it only one? No, it's because everything else after it stops. If you are testing the application and doing the things you need to do with the application, and you have people working in it and throwing and actually validating use cases, then you are going to catch a whole lot more exceptions. Yes, you might actually hit a problem and have to go off and fix something, but then you can turn around and, you know, actually have a reason for putting that code in there, actually put something that's meaningful, you know, why it's caused and why. It's perfectly reasonable to expect when setting this up, because again, now I'm producing a, you know, a library that could be shared, or used by other people. It's perfectly reasonable to expect them not to get the configuration right or not to wire it up properly, right? You can pull this configuration, you can put this configuration in app settings, or you can actually use console and pull the JSON document down from console, for all the events. So, and you know, there's the potential to extend that to other providers. But now this message makes sense if it throws, right? I can document that. Configuration does not provide topic for event type, suggests that it's tried to get the actual topic and it's failed. Okay, let's run this. Dependency injection from 8. And 801 upgrade. Oh, it's 801 everywhere else implicitly. There's only 2 I've actually got it specified in. Interesting. Changes infrastructure receiver. Manage Nuget packages. Why are you all on 12? Oh, do I have a chicken and egg here? Let's see, does that upgrade? No, that doesn't upgrade because that doesn't upgrade because that doesn't. Okay, so that needs to be 801. Those need to be 13, 13, 13, 13, 13. So I think Kafka extensions probably at this point it needs to contain abstract. As much as I don't want to break them out, services needs to go into extensions. Outbots as a concept probably needs to go into extensions, and then MongoDB and console do get added on separate libraries. That can go to 801 as well. Change infrastructure receivers. Did this revert in some way, shape, or form? Also, namespace is off. Apply, refactor, adjust namespaces. Detected package downgrade MongoDB entity framework core from 8 to. Interesting one. That's because it's referencing, it's got an implicit reference to MongoDB from the others. And I'm referencing it explicitly there. So I don't think I need that because I think it's actually covered by infrastructure. We'll get there though. Okay, let's see if this runs. If this gives me the network thing again, I'm going to be upset. Mainly because I don't want to be chasing down things like this all the time, right? It's frustrating to continually chase problems. Initializing debugger. There we go. There's still a few there, but that's okay. Okay, so the app's up and running. So what we should see now is if we go in here, gotta wait for the load now. If we go to deploy Liquid Sky to change to staging, we should, yeah, there's some changes. December 11th. Review date. That's interesting. It cached it. 5th to 10th. Oh no, it's got it. Now if we change this to the 13th, this to planning and tenant management, this to in progress, we should see. Oh, come on. Uh, yeah. You are funny. Cause error. Oh dear. So what is that? Well, my guess is that change right there has created that. Should be going to HTTP. Oh, it's going to HTTPS localhost. But it's on HTTP localhost 4200. So why does with origins not permit that? Origins that are allowed. Why am I now getting that when this clearly worked the other day? It's one thing into another, isn't it? So if I get this working, basically it's deploying the changes component. So obviously I do have some changes, but I deploy the pipelines component. Notifications can come shortly after that. Communications is a little bit more involved. That's a RabbitMQ configuration. That doesn't necessarily need to happen right this second because that's not a very well thought out piece. We've got tasks, we've got planning all there. We can create things there. We can create sprints and stuff in the application. So we're not that far off having a working testable application. Now to hit cause issues, that's annoying. Access to HTML HTTP request been blocked by cause policy. No, it hasn't, but okay. The gateway does not prevent anything. That's a work in progress. The gateway is basically just a forwarder. So, yeah. Add cause. Yeah, there's nothing special in there. Right, this is not their version. No, this is the default. Yeah. Map reverse proxy. Nothing in there is going to particularly block. Yeah. I'm not getting to API limits yet. So let's do that. Then it'll be quickly time to come back around on. Oh, hold on. That's not running. That's why. Hold on. I made an assumption and that wasn't the correct assumption. Planning items project. That wasn't there. Let's try that again and let's see. Because there should be like 12. I didn't remember seeing planning items in that list then. Management application. Yeah, planning is in there. Let's go to tenant management application. You need to be on 13. Interesting that you're there. Let's see. Sorry. This is weird because, like, why did it? It's like it reverted or it never took. Once it got confused yesterday, it's like that just broke. But I've Control Shift B multiple times and built these, and it's throwing different results up every single time. Say version 12. Okay. Version 12. Place with 13. I've seen that before. There we go. That I accept. Not stunning, but I accept it. Okay. It's like, it's as if Rider is only building the things it wants to build. I'll see. That looks healthier. So now we have planning items and tenant management all in there. Okay. So now if we reload this, go here, reload. So we go to deploy liquid sky staging. What we're looking for is changes in there. So we want to say, okay, this goes on the 13th. This goes to planning in that goes to in progress. There we go. Are you still erroring? Yes, you are. That's very interesting. Oh. I don't believe Mars is the option, but let's have a look. Means restarting. Stop planning items. Planning items. So Mars is multiple active result sets. Means if it uses the context, it can actually. My thought was that was querying, not updating. Why was that context being shared between requests? Is it connection that's being shared between the see that updated? This one failed. Okay, so I need to beat this basically. So let's change that to the 12th. Let's change that, and go there. So they've got two active requests at the same time. Yeah. The second operation will stand in this context instance before a previous operation completed. Different threads concurrently in the same instance of DB context. That's interesting. I'm not going to chase that down. Good news is the change detail came through for the previous change. Review date changed. Yep. There's the last one. There's that one. So it is. So the good news is it's processing the changes now, whereas previously actually it was failing. So we can go to here and see December 11th review date from December 10th to 13th, 13th to 12th. That worked. If we do that now, if we make that request now, that probably will go through. Where's my toast notification? There you go. That's interesting. It doesn't have that. Oh, so this is when the change detail hasn't processed yet into the review. The view knows it's a change, but there's no change to actually, there's no detail to load, I believe. But again, the point of this is not to be chasing down every little problem, every little challenge, right? You see that says, oh yeah, there you go. There's the after before it changes. Either that's breaking. Let's go back to the when does it make a request? Comments, changes. Here we go. There's the changes. It's got it. I just out the display for it. Okay. That's another challenge. Okay. This is going to be a continuing problem, right? I'm going to find things that are not working, or things that need refinement, or things that just need to be changed all the time. And then what I've got to do is be very selective over over when I tackle each problem, right? I can't just keep diverting and diverting and diverting, because I'm never going to get anything done that way. I'm going to step away and I'll be right back. I'm just going to go grab a cup of coffee and stretch my legs a second. And then I'm going to get to deploying this, I think, deploying the pipelines piece. So we can get that piece in, we can see that working in Kubernetes. Again, I can turn around and I can start refining some of these things, figuring out the actual pieces, and tightening the application up in a whole. So I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. Sorry about that. You guys are quiet today. Okay. So with that done, I've changed a lot of things. Well, I haven't changed a lot of things. I've changed many little pieces. I'm just looking. Oh no, I appreciate the look. Thank you very much. I do very much appreciate it. So that references my abstractions and EF core. That's fine. Good. Oh, fun. Updated reference, library reference. So here's the fun thing. Okay, now this can go away. We know we've validated that that works. Right. Oh, I didn't delete the project. Open Explorer. Samples, Kafka extensions, verify. Okay, that goes away. Okay, that should disappear. Okay. Wrap. I got null around get topic. If the topic configuration I'm not going to produce the latest version of that. Hi is doing a game jam and they gave me some ideas for a kids game like Pajama Sam, Freddy Fish, if you remember those games. No, but that's cool. Oh, Miss Van Horn, 63 months. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I was looking up there and that doesn't show up there, so wow. Hope you're well today. If you're interested in game development and an amazing Godot developer, then I would highly recommend checking out if you haven't already. Canny. He uses Godot. He uses C# version and the GG script version. He's built an entire library for Twitch that integrates into Godot, so you can do things like with overlays and events and things. And he supports that amazingly. So Canny Dev is absolutely amazing. Yeah. Just on my sprint work a whole week before sprint end. This means there was not that many prodigies, which makes it even better. You mean you actually plan sprint work based upon estimated effort and allowing for production issues? What? That's madness. Kenny's an awesome, awesome developer, an awesome person. Yes, I mean, done, not just waiting for QA done. He's from Germany, I believe. Um, But that is a great stream to hang out in, and in my top list of streams for the last year for my lurking. Okay, so what I was saying before is there is going to be some pending changes here for a version 14, but I do not need to worry about them right now. I figured out my problem, but that commit is done so that if someone was to pull the library, they can get the benefit of the change. Over here, basically, I've now got one more thing to decide. Do I just forget about it and upgrade everything? Well, no, I can't. I can't possibly do that. This one I can do. That might have been dangerous. We'll find out. Their implicit references. That's interesting. I changed that before. Let's see. That might break things even more. Yuka, hello. How are you doing? How are you today? Okay, let's run this once more and validate at least I didn't break everything with that change. That way, I can make this deployment happen. And yeah. I'm not sure what upgrades more often these days. JetBrains IDE versions or GitHub Copilot. I seem to upgrade the JetBrains IDEs at least once every couple of days. Okay. Let's see if we can at least make a change. If we can't make a change, then I've just broken everything with upgrading to the latest Mongo version. And yeah, that'll be fun. Okay, let's change task dependencies. I don't think there's anything on there yet. Okay. Let's change that to have notifications. Okay, there's my toast notification. We're getting somewhere. Ready for planning. Yes. So some of these things are, I need to decide how I'm going to update the UI. In some cases, I have to navigate away to navigate back to reload the object. In some cases, I can push down to the client, but yeah. Yeah, that's the changes. From preparing to ready for planning. And there's the other change. The other change is the project side. That's breaking. I've probably changed how I structured that. But the point there is I am serializing and deserializing to and from Mongo in the libraries required, right? The ones I just updated. I'm not going to upgrade everything right now because I'm going to upgrade to .NET 9 once I get the release out, so people can tinker with. But I'm going to get the .NET 8 version. Yeah, there's ready for planning, story notification. So I am tracking the changes. These events are happening. So all in all, this was a good diversion, if a little bit frustrating. So let's stop that running. It is working. Doing great. Trying to figure out why my video rendered file is about half the size after upgrading my GPU. How would that work? Unless it had a different encoder available to it as some form, I don't know, but that's interesting. Huh. Okay, let's go here. Let's just validate this once more. So we're on the latest version of MongoDB. That's good. All this is going to change. All this is going to change. 14 of hot chocolate. I'm sad because it gets rid of banana cake pop and replaces it with generic sounding tool. Could be upgraded from a 1070 to a 4070. That's quite the leap. Yeah. As of the 20 series, the NVENC encoders on those NVIDIA cards are pretty solid. It's why I stream off why I stream off an NVIDIA card. This is a 2080 Super in this machine. Because it does take the load off the CPU. I think the Strawberry Shake guys do great stuff, but they've changed them. That's the problem. I mean, they're still called chili cream. But they've changed the tools. So now they're not as quirky looking. Yeah, Nitro and Fusion. I mean, I suppose we've still got hot chocolate and strawberry shakes. So that's good. Nitro, Fusion. What are we doing today? So, variety of things actually. So I started off with trying to debug and identify a problem with my changes pipeline. And that was caused by me not having the right configuration in place after all, but that's allowed me to put in some better exception handling. So my Kafka pieces, these are one of the open source components that I've created from doing this project. So the outbot stuff, and there's a MongoDB version. That wasn't, I thought it was a problem with the serialized and deserialized, but it wasn't. It was a problem with the developer setting it up. Hadn't configured the reducer component. So now what I'm about to do is I'm about to commit all these changes to library versions. Updated library reference to the latest version. Entity in work for 8 point and MongoDB 3 point. Eight point 11 and MongoDB. Oh, hold on. Share kernel. And Kafka extensions. So what I'm trying to get to is I'm trying to get these pieces deployable in the Kubernetes piece. And this all started because I was trying to reduce the number of projects I was actually deploying. So for changes, there's 2 projects, changes and pipelines. Changes calculates, hey, here's what the event looked like last time I saw it, and here's what it looks like now. So all changes are based upon the events I publish rather than the actual data in the source of truth, because the external systems have the context of the larger system, whereas the individual services only have context of what they're actually focused on. And it works because realistically, I only care about data that's shared across the entire system, right? So it compares event A to event B on the same entity and says, okay, well, these things changed. that publishes a change event, which is then you can subscribe to. You can say, okay, I want to know when the user changes. I want to know when the review date changes, etc. You don't need any extra information from that, so you could consume that as another system and just base all your decisions off that to react to. But if you need extra context of that information, the pipelines piece, which again is name pending. Previously, I was picking the events out and processing them separately from the ones that were receiving the actual data. So as a planning item changes, the planning item receiver will take that planning item and, you know, capture that data. And now I'm thinking about it, I'm realizing why that is. It doesn't matter whether it's all part of the same or it's separate. The risk is you could potentially publish the fact that the information has changed based on the changed information. That's an entire separate thought. So anyway, I was condensing those two pieces into one piece, and now I want to get them deployed, because then when pipelines are in place and changes start to happen, we can see them, and then people are able to test the application as it stands. So let's get this updated library references. Consolidated. Did I do the change? Yeah. Consolidated change receivers and infrastructure receivers for pipelines. Entity framework core 8.0.1. MongoDB 3.0. What version of Mongo was it? Yeah. 8.2.0. Okay, commit and push. This is going to produce new packages of pretty much everything I've done, so that's going to be fun. Removed. Push. Okay. Making sure foundation changes are pushed is important, because as Mojo starts to work on Control Tower more, that foundation library is shared between us. So we have to make sure that's in a good place. If I've got a bunch of changes pending against that and he starts working on it based upon some bad assumptions, that's not healthy all around. So yeah, so that's foundation here is not a part of the rest of the project. It's its own project and solution. So that's going to take a few minutes. On the deployment side, so back over to this piece, we had all this working. The app was deployed. This is another app module now. So we have changes receivers, and pipeline is technically a part of this. So let's do, I'll call it pipeline right now. It's called pipeline because it's kind of part of changes as a whole. I didn't know what to really call it. And I knew that pipeline would trigger me every time. So it's not a name that I intend to stick. I just want it to become something that I can never forget what it does. And again, it's kind of decoration. So yeah. Well, that's building, because that's going to take a few minutes because several of the actual things are going to run. And I actually haven't got pipelines ready yet. We'll do that in a second. One of the challenges I was talking about there was the idea of out of sync updates. I don't know how to draw this, but we're going to try. Right. When you're dealing with a monolith and you're not dealing with any events or distributed components, an update is a much simpler thing, right? Let's draw, right? So in the monolith, we have client, we have the back end, and we have, delete that. Let's do my old favorite, the DB drawing. My favorite thing to draw, apparently. So in a monolith, things are much simpler. If I wanted to ask what the state of something looks like, I can ask at that point what it looks like, right? So if I'm calculating changes in something like this, then as I go to store it, I can say, okay, what changed, and publish off what changed. I have every single piece of data in its current state. If I do read uncommitted, I can definitely get what's being updated but not flushed to the database. So there's very little room for, if I change the date of a planning item on the planning item and I require that planning item date to say it changed, I'm not going to get the old date. And if I, need to know what the old date was, it's not like I'm going to have a challenge with um, figuring that out. It's going to be possible based upon the changes. With the distributed system, you end up with a little bit more of a challenge, especially the way I'm doing it. In that the client goes to the back end still, these two pieces happen, right? When they do this data storage piece, they also, so I suppose the right thing to do here is draw this still. When they do the data storage piece, they then produce an event, right? I'm going to show it going to, I wish I had a library. I need to create a library of my pieces somehow. I don't have it. When it goes into Kafka, when different pieces change, the receiver may or may not receive pieces of data in the right time. So this could be planning item, and this could be user, right? If I receive the fact that one of these changed before I receive the planning item or the user from the relevant system, right? Then I'm going to display, I'm going to produce an event based upon what the current state of that object is. I can't use dates because what date do I say? Is it like within 5 minutes of now? If it's not within 5 minutes of now, then it can't possibly be valid. it might be stale data, it might be fresh data. I don't know the difference, right? So there's a challenge in distributed system is I don't know with certainty what the state of that data looks like. And I can't hold the message back indefinitely while I wait. So as I receive that change, if that user changed the name, and then I change to use that user on an account. So let's say I go into Liquid Sky, I change Jeffrey Winkle to Bob Jeffries for whatever reason. I then go in to my task and I assign this to Bob Jeffries. Right? Let's say it wasn't assigned to Jeffrey before, it was assigned to Helen, and now I assign it to Bob Jeffries. If I produce that event, it's only the fact that it's unlikely to fall out of order that I'm going to get the right information, but I could still say that I changed it to be Jeffrey Winkle if this information isn't kept up to date. So there is a potential still for this to be out of sync. At this point, I'm going to accept that it is a risk, but it is unlikely, and it is more work than necessary to chase down. Wow, a truck just realized there was a stop sign at the end of my street. That could have been bad. So yeah, it's more of a calculated risk at this phase. Now, as people come to test the application, as I get people to actually give the application a try, maybe I'll see some of those things, maybe I won't. Maybe someone will call it out and say, well, I changed it to this and it's not allowing me to do this, or it's not changed the right value. Then I can dig into those. But right now, I'm not going to overthink it. I'm not going to be too afraid of it. The likelihood is, because of the way things are working, that those events are going to happen in the correct order, but you can't guarantee it. And that's a challenge with distributed over a regular, system, in that you do have more consistency of the data, because the data is the data, the state is the state. That's it. You've stored it, you've got it. So in that case, if I update the user, then I come back around and change the drop down. It doesn't matter, because that user it's going to pull Bob Jeffries. It's not going to ever pull Jeffrey Winkle. In this event, if this user didn't get updated in this change system, when I changed it, this could still publish the fact that Jeffrey Winkle was the person who it was changed to, even though Bob Jeffries is the actual thing. So I could go back and say, okay, well, I only care about the GUID anyway, so I can look that up on the client. I'm just trying to save time with that. So yeah, when you start distributing stuff, things get harder. Okay, so let's go over here. We need to actually, let's go back there for one more time. We need to create the pipelines deployment. So similar to change receivers, I'm going to do pipelines receiver. This is now a very bad name, because it's not a receiver. It's a receiver and producer. Pipelines, receivers, and then I'm going to change on pipelines. Application development right now. Pipelines and pipelines. I'm going to commit that. And I also need to change something in pipelines to trigger that. Let me go and make sure that what's it called? Docker Hub. So I'm privately hosting these images in Docker Hub. Did I get that point? No, create a repository. All those other images did publish, by the way. All the other things I just committed are all done. LS pipeline receivers. yeah, 11 minutes ago. Task planning, GraphQL, tenant management, receivers, changes. Now I'm doing pipelines. So now when I save this, I need to change something to do with this as well. Watch this be the one I haven't got anything to clean up. Are you serious? That's the cleanest of all things I've done. Add MongoDB, add Kafka. What else does that? Add Kafka. Yeah, that's not that. It's fine. Create pipelines, receivers, deployment. Okay, so while that goes through, and if you are new to the stream, if you have any questions, thoughts, opinions on what I'm doing, you're more than welcome to share. This is me sharing how I develop software. You're more than welcome to join in. If it seems confusing, you're okay to ask questions. I am happy to talk about the software. There's a lot of it, good or bad. There's a lot of it. So yeah. Hey, Luffy, how you doing? Welcome in. So on the pipeline side, let's copy and paste that piece. This has been very much a consistent component, right? LS pipelines receivers. Doing good, doing good. Feeling productive today, which is a good change. Right now, I'm trying to build out the additional. So this is Pulumi. Pulumi is an infrastructure as code tool. Well, this is TypeScript. I'm using TypeScript to configure Pulumi, and Pulumi is going to help me configure a Kubernetes cluster that I have hosted locally for my application, which is, what's this called? Headlamp. That's what I want. So what I've just done there is I've made a change to my code to push a build for pipelines to produce a Docker image. And now I'm going to configure this side here to pull that Docker image and deploy a service. Pipelines. Let's be consistent. Pipelines, receivers. Consistency there is going to matter more. So I've been working on this application for about a year, or just over a year. It is an application for project management and planning. Think Kafka. Not Kafka. Jira, if you've used it before. Pipelines, receivers, deployment, app settings, MongoDB. Yep. There we go. Yes. Well,
well, yes, right now. So everything that you see right now is pretty much everything I've worked on. I do have another person who will be helping me, but um, Mojo, who's going to be working on the back end components of the application. So with an application like this, there's got to be some way of making a um, an administration piece for managing subscriptions and things like that. And Mojo will be working on that component. We need to get this piece in a good place first. Okay. So it looks like things are not all healthy. Ugh. Okay, well we know why one of them. That's fine. So for reference, I've been a developer for many years. I've been a .NET developer for 20 years. So this is just me practicing and hopefully making a product. That would be the long-term goal, to make this actually become a thing. If you are interested, I will show you what it does. So what we need to do is kubectl, port forward, svc, console service, 8599 to 8500 -nls console. I should do that. Then we need to go to here and go to localhost 85, localhost 8599, then go here. Sorry for the bright white screen. Kafka configuration, go here. This actually works pretty well because it means that all those images are going to get repulled anyway. So copy that. I really need to figure out why this will not persist. So with that done, when these restart again, they should come up. MongoDB failing is a bit worrying. That shouldn't be failing. These should all restart again in a second. Yeah, they're starting. That's worrying. MongoDB failing is not good. That means we can't test anything. So this is Liquid Sky. Liquid Sky right now consists of two main components. There's a planning component and a task component. The planning piece is focused on product management and planning. The idea being that as a product manager or as management, you want to gather the requirements for what you want to be building as far as software goes. So the idea is you can create a reason. So this title and description eventually is going to get deployed into kind of or merged into reason or purpose, or maybe kind of a mission statement for this component. The idea being that this is, hey, we want to, deploy Liquid Sky to staging. That's the thing we want to achieve, right? What does it involve? Well, when we say deploy, we want to be able to see it. We want to be able to register a tenant, and we want to be able to create data in there. And this is the requirements set out by the product team. They can attach documents, they can see changes, etc. They can attach extra comments to the actual thing. But the goal is that they can put the requirements in a business understandable format. Right? This doesn't need to be technical. This can be completely non-technical. It can be very much focused on what does the business expect, right? Capture those requirements. Any rules as to how stories should be written, or how, businesses should not define the actual how in the requirements, etc. That can still be abided by. It's just it has to be in a the goal is for it to be very much describing what do they actually want. It essentially starts as a wish list. they can set a review date on here, and what this review date does is keeps moving this into view. So if they need to push it back because the project's been delayed for a little while, they can say, let's review this next month, right? And it will push this back up into their view next month. One of the long-term goals is for a lot of alerting and notifications to be possible on this system. So right now you can subscribe to being told for something changed on a planning item, but ultimately it's, hey, I want to know if the review date changed, or I want to know if the user it was assigned to changed. So there's a lot of that. As also a beginning developer currently in college, which framework would be nice to learn? Can you suggest me? I mean, what are you working on in college, or what were you working on in college? Have you found something you enjoyed yet? It's easy to suggest frameworks. It's easy to suggest tools and languages, but if you don't necessarily enjoy it and you're just trying to learn it, then it's going to be harder. If you found a language you like to work in, then it'll be easy to learn, and those concepts transfer between languages and frameworks. So let's see. So changes receivers. Oh, you're now running. You're running but going to fail? Yes, you are, but you're now back up. Okay, so you are genuinely running. This Redis thing is driving me crazy. Okay, but everything came back up except MongoDB. Oh, Mongo initdb root password file is deprecated. Use MongoDB initdb root password file. Okay, that's... So why did that fail? Storage, Mongo storage. Let me go back over here and check on Docker Hub. Wow, time flies so fast when I'm actually being productive on things. It's annoying. Okay. So let's do... We don't need to do that now. Everything else came back up. About to upset the apple cart a little bit with this cdd dev Pulumi liquid sky Pulumi up dash y. So this is going to be services collection dot. So we need to change that to be add pipelines receivers. Services. It's fine. All part of... Hold on, namespace, yep. Oh, hold on. It's all part of the namespace. Let's see if it was. The secrets and stuff we can always tighten up later. Pulling me up. Still worried about Mongo, because that's kind of a fundamental fundamental piece in what I'm about to do. I don't want to be testing the ETL tool quite yet. There is a, if you are interested, there is a Discord linked in the cards below. If you want to talk about this, ask more questions about Liquid Sky, or chat about software development in general, you're more than welcome to join the Discord. Always happy to talk about stuff. Hey, 500th deployment. One of these will be successful. Interesting, the Redis piece is still getting changed and all that. But we'll find, we'll see what happens with that one. Image pullback off. Why? What is going wrong with that? Oh, hold on. What is... No, hold on. LS pipelines receivers. Is that what I called it? Yeah. TBD develop LS pipelines receivers. Failed to pull image. LS pipelines receivers. I beg to differ. I'm looking at it. Oh, hold on. No, I'm not. I'm looking at a... Yeah, bring this over here. TBD develop Liquid Sky. I think that deployment failed. Actions. Yeah. Why did you fail? No such image pipelines receivers latest. Build. Again, one good pass of the application will do that for us. That's not something I'm panicked about. Workflows, pipelines, receivers, module, pipelines, receivers, push image, base, pipelines, infrastructure, receivers. I don't see anything busted there. Build inputs.module. No such image. Run Docker tag. Container repositories, pipelines, receivers. That's fine. I don't think that did what it should have done. Pipeline receivers. So this is one of the successful ones. Pushed image. Yeah, the push image didn't work, did it? That's on planning. What we need one that's receivers. Changes receivers. Publish. Yeah, so this part didn't flow through. Oh, please tell me I didn't. Yep, there's the problem. We were missing enable SDK container support. There we go. Enable container support for pipelines, receivers. Let's push that. Why are you on the the wrong version? Shouldn't you be on 13? What? Am I going crazy? I'm not reverting files accidentally, am I? Did I not just go through and change all those to 13? Why did I updated Kafka extensions libraries to I really want to put an E in there, don't I? I could have sworn I'd just done that though. So quite possible I failed there, but it does highlight the fact that, and this is one of the things that if you read or listen to people's opinions on distributed monoliths or any larger scale application, is doing this as a solo project is not the smartest idea. It could be a little bit of arrogance on my side. It could just be a little bit of, like misplaced confidence due to developing software for years. But the reality is the bigger the project gets, the harder it is to track all the things in the project. The more important it becomes. And this is true of all software, right? The bigger the project gets, the more important it is to keep track of where things are, because every single change branches to more possible failures, more possible issues, more possible, differences in behavior. So it's really important to kind of keep an eye on this sort of stuff. But again, modern development is not just building a client, putting the backend on it, and sticking it in a database. In most cases, in a lot of cases, it can still be done, right? You can still build a simple application. Use central package management. No, that is something that I wanted to reflect on. That got confusing when I started looking at that. And hello, by the way. But central package management would have solved that problem. But yeah. But that goes to another point, right? I know I need to do that. I know I need to do deployment. I know I need to do this. I know I need to do that. There's all sorts of things that I need to do. And it's just issue after issue after issue in terms of 9 minutes. Does that never stop? Once I validate that image is there, that'll be fine. There you go. Okay, that's there now. Let's delete that. Because of the deployment, it should recreate the image pretty quickly. And that should function. Like the contest. No, what I did is I went through earlier on, I went through a bunch of changes to the NuGet packages because I changed my my package yesterday for Kafka and had issues with the versioning not catching up and the cache is being out of sync. And I thought I got past them this morning. And I thought I'd changed everything with a find and replace as well. And I'm not sure something didn't get reverted in the process. But again, I need to do a whole pass of that once I get to .NET 9. Right, there's a whole lot of stuff that needs to be updated. But one thing at once, right? Okay, so that's up and running, but now Mongo is still in trouble. Deployments. MongoDB. Oh, it's LS storage, that's why. So you have two versions of packaging process for their own services, but they don't know. Two version of packaging process for their own services, but the .NET runtime choose a new version. .NET runtime won't choose a newer version. That is, it's restricted to the version I tell it to. Just it knows there's a lot of updates. The problem with that one was I had oh, ads. My apologies. Are you failing? Stateful set MongoDB. An hour ago. Failed to communicate. Upgrade problem found an invalid feature compatibility. Wrong MongoDB version. That's quite fascinating, isn't it? This is going to be interesting. Lumi down .y. Let's bring it all down, and then we'll figure out what happens next. Hey Zons, how you doing? This will either just wreck everything or prove out the process. We'll see. So we're finishing up today with trying to get the app started using the new library that or the updated library that we've just added to the deployment. No, I didn't. That link hasn't come through in. If you want to PM me that, you can do. Okay, so that's down. Everything's down. Now let's do Pulumi up -y. Let's start this because we're going to need that forward again. Come on. Come on. I got to fix this. CTL forward. Thank you. Side-by-side execution. Benefit. Yeah, I don't think that's the yeah, I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to specify that, but right. Yeah. In this case, it was actually the fact that I thought I'd gone through and updated the library version to 13 everywhere. I tried doing it yesterday, and the Nuget package cache was out of sync with Rider's cache. So I had to remove the global clean the global cache out and repull. But then I had lots of different issues with it upgrading the versions. But I'd gone through earlier on in the stream and updated them, so I didn't think I had any left there. But yeah, console service. So that yeah. Yeah, and also to the point of central package management. Yeah, I was looking at that the other day, but it's another one of those. When I get to the next step. Okay, so that's that. So now we go here again. Yep, you're not going to work because that's missing. Kafka configuration. Then we need to do this. No. Configurations. This, that. Save that. That'll bring everything up. Yeah. Did Mongo deploy those time? MongoDB is running. Okay, that's good. Okay. These will start eventually. So the goal is very much, now we've got the changes piece in there. I'll test this tomorrow. But then on Friday, if people are around, what I'll do is I'll open up a Discord channel specifically for Liquid Sky testing, a forum maybe. And I'll ask that you ping me the email you would sign up for it with. And then when you sign up, I can then go and add the correct permissions for you to actually use the application. We're only going to leave the app up while I'm on stream for the most part. But even if you manage to register, it isn't going to make much of a difference unless I give permissions. And I'm still, again, trying to figure out how to gather initial feedback, because obviously this is not a workable version. This is a version that is to be tinkered with, but not to be... I don't want to overwhelm myself with bug fixes and feedback at the point of I need to make more progress on certain things. And the goal is very much to get it into a place where Mojo and I can actually dog food the application using this and find some of those things ourselves, and then actually do an actual real planning session that would come off stream, and then share the results. There's no rate limiting, no. But it is behind a Cloudflare tunnel. So I can impose rate limits at that level. Yeah, no one's getting just direct access to my IP address here. This is going through the Cloudflare tunnel. So let's have a look. Let's do this. Let's stop that running. And then let's do, this would be kubectl get service and ls storage kubectl. Actually, it doesn't really make a difference, but port forward svc ls SQL service. Actually, let's just bring up delete. Yes. Oh. What? Did you wipe out my freaking database? SQL service 1439, 1433, and ls storage. Oh, are you kidding me? I've got a database but no data. So tenant management, planning, tasks. These base off of Kafka, of MongoDB anyway, so they're fine. But it's somehow lost my databases. That would be a really bad position. But anyway, unfortunately, I cannot continue on because I do have a job to do. Today is a busy one. So I need to learn why this does not persist, even though it's set to. It's clearly wiping out the SQL storage every time, whether it's being the actual application starting up, because the database is there. It started that, but, you know, it's not there, strangely. So unless that somehow magically fixes something, I can't see how that would work. Yeah, it's yeah, they've lost. Kubernetes use Docker view volumes. That's the only thing I can. I've never used Kubernetes. Yeah, so it does. So I do have the concept of storage and persistent volumes. These volumes are meant to be stored, but they are getting wiped out. So when I do Pulumi down, it deletes everything, even the storage, and that's not what I want to happen. I want the storage to retain, unless I delete the storage, right? So yeah, but we'll see. That's what's causing these. The database isn't there, so they're throwing a fit, but the actual application is up and running. So yeah, the goal will be get that working, and yeah. Pull that down. Don't want to leave that open. But they're stateful sets, they're storage volumes. That's meant to persist between restarts, as far as I'm aware. So either it's because I'm using Pulumi and I'm misunderstanding that piece, or something else. But we will get there. We will get there. Okay. Okay, let's go. So maybe is working on React Native and TypeScript applications. So we're going to go raid into maybe. I'm trying to find app developers before game developers as the raid targets. But yeah, don't forget it is Wednesday. One Lion will be streaming. One Lion works on his work code. He's been working on an ETL tool and is but yeah, more.net there. If you're interested in that. Yeah, it's that time. It's actually way past that time. I'm late. I need to go get ready for work. So I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to see if I can get this fixed later today. As always, I will try and get that working. If not, this is where we'll start tomorrow. More to learn, more to do. And then, yeah, we'll resume. Have a great day, all. Take care. Don't forget, maybe the stream is marked as for adult content, so there's a little bit more mature content there. I forget to remind people of that when coming from the stream. And yeah, I'll post updates in Discord. Nice. I will start thinking about my ideas for how I'm going to gather feedback on this. But hopefully by Friday, you should be able to log into Liquid Sky on the stream and tinker with it a little bit in your own tenant. That will be the goal. So thank you all. Take care. Have a great rest of your day. See you again soon. Bye all.